Ever since the Super Seicento's bodywork was completed earlier this year, one common suggestion that I've had is that the curved lower half of the front bumper could use some sort of lip or splitter just to finish it off and sharpen it up a bit.
And if I'm completely honest, I agree with you, frankly. So we're finally going to sort that out. I've bought a lip, and this particular one is a little bit interesting because the lip I've chosen, let me get it out of the box. Usually unboxing is not as glamorous as you'd think. This is the front lip off of a Seat Leon Cupra. Yes, really. And there's a very good reason for that. The shape of it pretty much is the shape of a Seicento front bumper. We've got two big sort of sticky out curves. It then juts in, we've got a smooth bit there and comes back out again. However, a Seat is considerably wider than a Seicento, so first things first, we're going to make this thing a little bit smaller.
Made in Poland as well. Quality. We start by eyeing up the lip with the bumper and immediately realise that these supporting legs in the middle mean that it won't sit high enough. They clip onto a Seat bumper, but they won't sit flush on the Seicento, so before we can even get started fitting the lip, the legs are getting chopped flush with the top.
That's it.
Legs shortened, we can more accurately eye up the lip. The shape is spot on, but given the considerable width difference between the Seicento and the Cupra, we decide that the easiest way to fit the lip is 1/2 at a time. We crack the hacksaw back out and cut the lip in half down the middle. I'm holding it down to make it easier to cut, and it's important to let the saw do all the work and not try to pull it apart for fear of awkwardly snapping it. And this, by the way, is the tense no going back moment.
Oh, you cut the label. No. The eBay resale value is ruined.
After a moment's silence for the sticker, we size up the first half of the bumper, making sure that the point on the lip and the point on the bumper are lined up together. Once we're happy, it's the real no going back moment. Drilling through one of the mounting tabs on the lip into the bumper. The soft plastic bumper is easy to drill without cracking, so a self-tapping screw is put through both of them to hold the tab through the lip and onto the bumper.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A few of the tabs on the lip line up perfectly, so we continue working our way around the lip, drilling and self-tapping. Confidence high, we work our way through until my dad does the riskiest thing ever, giving this idiot the power drill. Someone get an ambulance on speed dial.
Right, we ready? Yeah, gently on the trigger. Gently, gently. Gently. Once it's got work.
And relax. Hole drilled, another self-tapper is fitted before we turn our attention to the corner of the lip.
Gonna be good.
The lip gets 10 seconds of light warming from a heat gun before we gently bend it into shape round the bumper. It's important to keep the heat as light and as brief as possible to avoid melting it or damaging the paint on the bumper. With the lip softened, we gradually shape it round. Given the size and the intricacy of it, it works best to do it with 2 people. With it eventually curved round, we drill through and self-tap the remaining tabs before turning our attention to the leading edge. Because the lay-on bumper is so much deeper, we're left with an overhang on the lip. Lining up with the edge of the wheel arch, I hold and support the lip while Dad carefully saws the end off. This again is a delicate job to avoid arch liner damage or touching the fresh paintwork.
Very good, very good.
Lovely. And I've now got a sick canard that I can throw on there.
Leaving the extra aero for now though, the final tab is drilled and screwed and 1/2 of the lip at least is done.
That looks sick.
That's right.
It's only half a lip on the moment, but it looks sick.
The other half of the lip gets warmed, shaped, drilled and screwed up to the middle. We cut the edge off once again, sand both of them smooth, and then it's the bit that we've been dreading. The overhang is around 3 inches, so we unscrew both halves to make access easier. The overhang gets sawn off both halves of the lip and we keep the neater offcut to use as a centre. Then the screws get tightened back up, but I have to awkwardly crane to do it. If only there was a solution.
Shall we go up with the ramp a bit? Would that be easy?
Do you know what?
I always do this. I struggle like mad, then realise it goes.
This is actually more realistic because people at home are going, oh, well, I haven't got a hoist. Well, don't worry, seemingly neither have we.
Having lifted the hoist that we forgot we had, 2 holes are drilled through the central legs before self-tappers with washers on them are screwed through to hold them up, with one little extra.
But we're going to use a speed nut on the end to lock it into place, because they're cool.
We like speed nuts, and when it's a fast car, you use speed nuts for more speed.
With much speed, the other screw, washer and speed nut are attached, and then it's time to turn to the middle. The offcut is covered with Sikaflex before being lined up centrally and firmly pushed into place on the lip, bridging and covering the gap. I push it firmly home, being careful not to get any Sikaflex on my hands, and after wiping any excess off and adding a self-tapper once it's dried a few hours later, the lip is done. The last couple of times I've been to Poland, you might have noticed cars with these angel eye projector headlights. I think they're an awesome look on a modified Cento and a vast improvement over the crappy stock ones. It's also better headlight technology. You can probably tell here that I didn't do art at school, but the points of it still stand. In your normal halogen headlight, you've got your bulb here and it shines into this kind of sideways metal cone umbrella thing. Now the light goes into there and gets reflected back towards a mirrored back of the light, which then bounces that back forward, spreading it out through a kind of glass lens with markings cut into it to deflect where your beam goes, depending on whether you dip beam or main beam or anything like that. It sort of works, but it's not the most efficient use of the light energy because there is some waste going on when it shines it into that cone, which obviously not all of it is going to bounce back into the mirror. Now with your projector headlight, it's a far more efficient use of the energy. You've got a much longer bulb that goes into the projector itself, and it's kind of a thin beam that goes through that rounded glass orb, which then expands the light, and because the casting of the light through that glass orb is so much cleaner, you can have completely smooth headlight lenses with no lines cut into them or anything. And once again, I didn't go to art school. But you couldn't tell. Trouble is, unlike some more common cars, you can't buy Seicento ones off the shelf, and they have to be custom made. So I jumped online and bought every component required. First up, the projectors themselves, which in this case use H1 bulbs. If you live in a right-hand drive country, make sure that you get projectors with dip beam that dips to the left, as it's not safe to be dipping your beams into oncoming traffic. They also come with these plastic shrouds that neaten up the look and allow you to mount LED angel eye rings. These take the place of the side lights and fit onto those plastic shrouds. Regardless of which direction your beams dip, however, all projectors are designed to be fitted into the shape of a left-hand drive headlight body, so I bought a pair of TYC EU-Spec headlights fresh from Germany. The projectors use an H1 connection, which is different to the Seicento standard headlight loom, so an adapter loom is needed, one for each headlight. Without the need for beam deflection by the glass itself, you can mount clear headlight lenses. I had mine made by an Italian company called Axlab Plastics, and I've linked them as well as all the other components you'll need in the description. This is a lot of stuff and it can be quite delicate to put it all together. You can do this DIY, but to be completely honest, I was snowed under with work. So I got my buddy Seb, who's built around half a dozen pairs of these, to build them for me. In return for beer, Seb cuts the sealant out of the left-hand drive headlights and removes the glass. Without the need for reflective internals, he then paints them with satin black heatproof paint for that slick look. Heatproof paint means that hopefully it shouldn't be affected by sunlight over the years when it shines through the lenses. The projectors are then mounted into the headlight bodies with some light trimming of the plastic for extra space. With the angel eye rings removed from their casings, they can be attached with sealant to the projector shrouds. The wires are fed through, the new clear lenses clamped on with the original clamps, and my new projector headlights are done. The wiring is pleasingly straightforward. The angel eyes get new positive terminals to simply clip into the existing side light wiring, and this plug on the adapter loom gets chopped and replaced with female terminals to connect these H1 LED belt style bulbs that slot into the projectors. With everything assembled, the old lights are removed from the car and the new terminals are waterproofed with electrical tape. There's guys in California going, oh man, my winter project, I'm going to turbo my car on my driveway. Our winter project is not catching hypothermia. After testing that everything lights up, the new projector headlights are plugged in, the wiring tidied up, and with another small addition before we lose the light, we're done. there you have it. I said at the beginning of the year I had a vision for exactly what I wanted the Super Seicento to look like, and it was that. That is my dream vision for this car realised, and I'm just chuffed with it. The story for the Super Seicento is by no means over. You know, there's plenty more to come, but for now, I'm just going to go and enjoy it. Happy Christmas.